Doing good today.
Look, you get a whole piece of paper to yourself. I'm real estate. Thank goodness.
I did almost fall asleep last night.
And the backup printout is right beside you.
Yes, ma'am. We're not run off, I promise. Yes, sir.
Starting the meeting.
Okay. I will refer to you. That's okay. Sure. I'm sitting in the right spot. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we can do that. That's 5-minute warning, or 3-minute or 2-minute warning if anyone else wants to sign up to speak. Hey, I can.
Yeah, we're signing.
All right, Matilda, come to life here. Yeah. If we're on or not.
Oh, okay. Hey, how are you?
Well. There it goes.
Oh, I've done dropped till 7:30. We're good, Don.
We're short
Just one. Just one. We're watching this from California. All right, how are we doing on time? That works. They'll accuse us of doing something. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to call to order the regular May meeting of the Madison County Board of County Commissioners. I would like to ask everyone who has not already turned off their electronic device or muted it to please do so. And at this time, we will rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We will now have a moment of silence. Thank you. Next item is the approval of the agenda, as has been posted and is present to each of the commissioners. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wechtel. Second. Second by Commissioner Rice. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the agenda, please raise your right hand. We now have for consideration the April 10th, 2018 special and regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, having previously reviewed both sets of minutes, I move that both sets be approved as submitted.
A motion by Commissioner Wechtel to approve minutes as submitted. Second by Commissioner Briggs. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please raise your right hand. All right, now we have public comment. Again, I would like to remind that there is a 3-minute time limit. I'm going to ask our county manager to make sure for that. And it looks like, John, you're up. For the sake of streaming, if you make sure you talk into that mic, oftentimes if you don't, it's not picked up on the internet.
Right, how's that?
Okay, perfect. Good evening, welcome.
Thank you for having us. I'm here on behalf of the Friends of Hot Springs Library, and I brought the rest of the leadership of the Friends of Hot Springs Library with me.
Hello.
And we are pleased to come today. It's mostly a thank you session, and we'd like to thank all the commissioners who have supported us over the last several years in securing our new library, and more recently in renovation that has taken place in the back of the building. I especially like to recognize the maintenance department and Jesse Roberts. They did an amazing job with this new renovation. The library feels like it's twice as large as it was, even though the renovation was really in the back portion. And to us, it looks like it was a professional contractor who did the job. So they stuck at it, they did a great job. Also, we want to thank the IT department for hooking us back up and keeping us connected in fiber and phone, etc. We'd like to thank Forrest, Gilliam for working closely with Melanie Morgan and the maintenance department to assure this happened. We knew it took a lot of time and effort, but we appreciate it. And especially, and again, I thank Melanie Morgan, who's here on her off time, but support us for the work that she's done in, again, establishing the new library and overseeing the renovation and expansion. As she has probably told you, our library is now, attracted national attention as a rural small library doing innovative things. So we thank Melanie Morgan for that. Again, you all have come through, we appreciate it, and we are going to have an open house on Thursday, May 24th, a drop-in at our library so everybody can see what the new library looks like. And I'm going to give you an invite so you don't have to write it all down.
Oh, cool.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, John. And a special thanks to all of you, Melanie, the group known as the Friends of the Library. If we had that level of community activism and support across a lot of other things in Madison County, but you guys do a wonderful job. And thank you again, Melanie, to you and your staff.
Do very well, and Friends and Melanie really put together a good project, and maintenance did a really good job. In between other projects and things going on, there was a week where Jesse put in close to 80 hours, and that's not to be done all the time, but he knew we had a deadline and something needed to be done, and he had a crew there, and they got a lot of good work done. So that's a good thing, and it looks really nice. I've been to see it a few times, and it's a good thing. So appreciate y'all helping make it work.
All right. Forrest, the fourth item on our agenda is dealing with the Board of Equalization and Review. And if you would sort of review with all of us what's going on there and what the legal requirements are and what we're doing tonight and how that fits into the rest of the schedule.
Mr. Chairman, as you know, the Board of Equalization Review, which reviews appeals about property values through the assessor's office, is appointed by or is the Board of Commissioners, members of the Board of Commissioners. And in Madison County, you all serve as the Board of Equalization Review. And And the dates for those hearings have been scheduled, but the statute requires that the board convene prior to the first Monday in May. So Lori checked with the Department of Revenue, and we ran it by Mr. Laws and confirmed that to be compliant with the statute, you all could convene during this meeting as the Board of Equalization and Review, announce the hearing dates, which I can read off once you all do that, and then you can adjourn the Board of Equalization and Review. Purely a technicality, the regular hearing dates have been advertised, and you all will hear appeals as they've been scheduled at that time.
All right. At this time, the Board of County Commissioners will convene as the Board of Equalization and Review, and we will review the times of the meetings for the record. They are Tuesday, May 15th, Tuesday, May 29th, and Tuesday, June 5th. The meetings will begin at 8:30 a.m. each day, and they will take place in the conference room at the County Administrative Building, aka the Old Ingalls. Okay. Are there any questions, Mr. Counselor, anything else that we would need to do other than make that note? If not, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn the Board of Equalization and Review.
We need to recess.
Sir, recess. Recess. My correction. Recess. Correct. Mr. Whitehall, did you move?
I can.
I move.
Bill will move. Mr. Briggs moves that we recess the board. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All right. Excellent. Ms. Connie.
Actually,
Yep. Which one?
Mr. Jeff Waite. with
Oh, I'm
NCDOT.
sorry. My agenda, let me go back to my master agenda on the computer. I've gone a little too far ahead, folks. I needed a paper backup there. All right. My bad. Okay, Mr. Jeff Waite, NCDOT Division of Roadside Environmental Engineering, Adopt a Highway Program, sir. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank y'all for having me. I was asked to come speak to you folks, give you a brief rundown on our Adopt a Highway program offered through the DOT. I've got a few highlights of that program and a little bit of information about our other litter efforts I'll go over quickly. Also have some brochures and information I'll leave with you, and my contact information as well. Be glad to assist anyone who's interested in participating in the program. The Adopt a Highway program, it's a joint effort between volunteers within the community and the department to decrease amount of litter on the roadsides. One question I get asked ever so often is, how much does it cost to participate? There's no fee to participate in the program. We're eagerly seeking volunteers for the program, so we do not require any fee to be a part of it. The requirements for the program are, we ask the volunteers to commit to a 4-year agreement in which they will adopt a 2-mile section of roadway. Now, we're not strict on that 2-mile section. If you live on a 1.5-mile dead-end road and want to adopt that road, by all means, we'll be glad to work with you and let you have that section. But kind of our guidelines are a 4-year commitment on a 2-mile section. We do require a minimum of 4 litter pickups per year. Encourage and welcome to do more than that, but that's kind of what we expect with the program, is at least 4 pickups per year. The department provides bags, vests, and gloves for the groups doing the pickup. We have all that material available at our county maintenance yard. I also have extras available at my office, which is in Woodfin. They're at the old Craggy prison, so if for whatever reason they don't have enough bags or vests or whatnot here at the county yard, I have them and I'm not far away. I'll be more than glad to supply them. Also, we do install the Adopt a Highway signs that recognize the volunteer group on both ends of the adopted route. We provide safety training, information which includes a safety video. Obviously, Safety is a primary concern within the department, so we stress safety with these groups. We do encourage recycling. The bags we provide, you may be familiar with them, the orange bags. Those bags are reversible, and on the inside it's blue, so you just turn them inside out and put all your recyclables in those bags. We do ask that once a group does a pickup, that they report it to us, and it can be submitted online or it can be called into my office. That way we track and have a record of the pickup for the group, and plus the number of bags that are collected. And then once we get a report of a pickup, DOT will remove the field bags from the roadway. If they're left on the shoulder, they just call in or do their online pickup report, and then we'll send the maintenance crew out to pick up those bags. Currently, we have 21 active Adopt a Highway contracts here in Madison County. This past year, they reported to collect 4,815 pounds, which equals 2.4 tons. We use a simple conversion of 15 pounds per bags just to get us a bag figure. When you do that math, it comes out to approximately 321 bags of litter that was picked up in Madison this past year. For comparison purposes, I met with the folks in Rutherford just a couple months ago discussing these same type issues, so I have some data for them. They have 34 active contracts. They picked up 8,625 pounds, which is 4.3 tons, or 575 bags. Also, I'm scheduled to do this same thing with Mitchell next week, and they had 16 active contracts, 3,705 pounds, 1.9 tons, or 247 bags this past year. We do have a new litter management website that I would refer folks to for if they're interested in Adopt a Highway or of any of their other programs. It does not have a convenient, easy to remember address. I'll be glad to read it off to you, or the easiest way is just to do a search for NCDOT Adopt a Highway or NCDOT Litter Management. Should pull it right up, but I do have those links. I'd be more than happy for you folks to put those on your solid waste management website. I know some counties have done that. Links, include those links there. That's pretty much the gist of the Adopt a Highway program. We do also have a Sponsor a Highway program, which currently we do not have any participants here in Division 13. At this time, I do have a couple that have applied down for I-26 down near the airport. The Sponsor a Highway program is geared primarily towards big businesses, major corporations, and they basically pay a third party to do the work for them, but they get the sign up with their name on it for the publicity. I know, I don't know if you're in Raleigh much. I go to Raleigh quite often. You see them down there for, I noticed one for Johnson, Lexus, Hendrick Motorsports, those type of folks. You'll see the Sponsor a Highway on the interstate for those. But that is also an option if any businesses or corporations want to participate through that. One other litter program we offer is what we call a Squatter Litter Bug. That provides citizens an opportunity to report littering that they see. They can report the tag number to our office. They can do it by phone, or we have little postcards they mail in. Once we get that, our Raleigh Central office will send a letter to the individual basically explaining that they were observed littering, explain to them the severity of littering, the associated fines that could apply, and also to educate them a little, encourage them to refrain from doing that in the future. It doesn't carry, the letter itself doesn't carry any penalty. It's more of an educational purpose, but that is an option we have to allow folks who see someone littering so they can report it, and we can get some educational material at least out there to those folks.
Sorry. Jeff, on the sponsor program, if we go to the same NCDOT, we can download that information?
Yes, sir. There's a link right there for that. And like I said, those are provided by third-party sources. I think there's 2 companies that we have linked there, and you will contact them directly, or the company that's interested would contact them directly and enter an agreement with them for that.
Okay. Because it has been briefly discussed at the Chamber Board about possibly, we have a few businesses in the county that might be interested in doing that. So I'll pull that up. If we have a question, I'll whistle back at you, and I'll pass that
That'd be
on
great. I'd be glad
to the chamber board.
Yes, and I know that's, like I said, those are geared mainly toward large corporations, but we'll take, I mean, anybody that's willing to do that route. And as far as adopting the highway, it can be church groups, individuals, civic groups, any type of organization that's interested as far as our Adopt a Highway program. The last thing I'll mention is our litter sweep campaign, which actually just ended for the spring. Those are conducted the last 2 weeks of April and the last 2 weeks of September. A biannual campaign where we concentrate our internal DOT efforts on litter pickup, as well as working with the community to encourage them to get involved. Again, we'll be glad to provide the supplies for anyone who's going to do litter pickup on any state-maintained road. I mentioned earlier, meeting with Rutherford County. I would encourage you, if you're interested in some of the stuff they've got going on. They're very proactive down there about the litter situation they're dealing with. I will mention litter is not isolated by any means to Madison County. It's everywhere. I deal with these type of complaints, concerns throughout all 7 divisions, 7 counties within the division, and then my counterparts deal with it throughout the state. So it's by no means isolated. But the folks in Rutherford County have really stepped up. First part of this year, got heavily involved in the litter sweep. They have created a Facebook page that's called Pick It Up ROCO, R-O-C-O, where they're getting a whole lot of community involvement, and I have a contact name. If you're interested in talking to those folks, she said she'd be more than glad to discuss the goods and bad of things that they're experiencing. So you might not have to reinvent the wheel on all these things if you're looking to get more involved in dealing with litter issues. Also, Steve Garrison's the county manager down there. I'll be glad to give you the contact information. Some of you may know him as well.
What's your email?
JLWait, that's W-A-I-T, at NCDOT.gov.
Okay.
And the one last thing I will mention as far as our contract litter pickup, we just started a new contract litter pickup this year in which we combined litter pickup on our interstates and primary routes with our mowing contract. And so your interstate routes and your primaries here in Madison are getting picked up. The interstate does get picked up once a month. The majority of the primaries are getting picked up every other month. However, we do not have contract pickup on secondary roads. That's why we really try hard to get community involvement through our Adopt a Highway program.
Did this take the place of the prisoners picking up the trash?
The
contract that you put out?
It has.
Why did they quit that? I mean,
Well, I'm not an expert, but I will tell you how it's been explained to me. It was a legislative decision based primarily on consolidation of prison systems and financial, as far as return on investment for what was being paid out. Not that the prison crews weren't doing a good job, but limited on the amount of mileage they could cover as compared to the bang for the buck we get when we pay a contractor to do the litter pickup. Again, that was a legislative decision.
that's good.
Okay. Other questions?
And part of the problem, just to clarify, after our meeting last month, I spoke with both our House representative and our state senator. What had happened was, once DOC got wind that they were going contract, as soon as the contract was signed, DOC stopped picking up trash. And so there was a little bit of a lull in between the time that the contract went into effect and the time the DOC stopped picking up trash. So hopefully we will see better results going forward, is what I've been told. So that's the hope, and let's hope that's what happens. And if not, then we know who to call.
So secondary roads are no matter what, as of right now, they would not be contracted. Is that correct?
They are not currently under contract. Within the contracts, we do have built in a little bit of extra mileage.
Okay.
And if the contractor finishes his cycle for a month, and there's days remaining in the month, and I have mileage available, I do utilize that for complaints that have been called in, and I will send the contractor to make up that additional mileage on secondary roads. But I have a long waiting list of those things, so,
Yeah.
and there's no guarantee of how quickly I can get them or one of my crews out there to address it.
But now, you can sponsor any road.
Yes,
Any
sponsor, you can
state
sponsor,
maintained.
now they're typically on interstates,
Uh-huh.
but I think, from my understanding, again, we don't have any currently within my division, but my understanding is that's available for any route.
For example, if someone picked up a part of a road that was not currently being picked up, but that was, say, a major street or something in a town.
There's a difference between sponsorship and
Oh, yeah.
adoption.
Adopt,
of it.
Right,
Yes.
the
Yes.
sponsor is where the corporate
Right.
pays for it.
Right, right.
Yeah, or some entity pays for it. Yeah.
One other thing I'll mention, I'm sorry I forgot, on our new website, there is an interactive map where you can zoom in and you can see highlighted the routes that are being picked up by our contract, as well as the routes that are currently adopted on that map. So if you're interested in a route, you can see if it's currently being covered or not.
Okay, thank you. Cool.
So where we used to call, I know what people would call before, we would call somebody to prison and say, can you come do X road? It's not gonna be quite as nearly as quick results because you don't have people there to do it now, but we can still put in complaints. So if there's that extra time, they might be able to get to one of those.
That's right. You can forward them to me, and like I say, I maintain a list of basic priority of when they come in, and then I send somebody out to verify and determine the length and a start and end point, that type of stuff, so I can pass it on to either one of my own internal work crews or to the contractor.
A special shout out to some folks in this room and to the good folks in the town of Marshall who made an outstanding effort recently on 213 down here. And for the record, how many bags, guys? Did you?
32.
32 on,
Hayes'
what was
Run.
what's that stretch of road there?
Hayes' Run.
Yeah, about how long the distance did you?
1.4, no, not quite.
It's like between a mile and a quarter of a mile.
Yeah, yeah. And it
And
looks
then they
phenomenally
also,
better.
I don't know how many bags we got on Main Street and on Rector Corner, but there were additional.
But a real good effort by the folks in the town of Marshall.
And there's already trash on
Well, all right,
Thank
anything
you.
else?
Thank you for that.
it.
Anybody, anything else? Jeff, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
Would you like these brochures I have?
Please.
Those with you?
Thank you.
There's some of my cards as well. Thank you.
All right, Miss Connie, I now have my order of business back in order.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here asking that you proclaim the month of May as Foster Parent Recognition Month. You may know that we currently have 5 licensed foster homes in Madison County, and we have recently completed a 30-hour required training, and we believe that we're going to have 10 families that will be able to license as a result of that. And we have heard from some other folks who are interested, and we hope to be able to do another class in August. So, currently we have custody of 86 children, and it's certainly, we're very excited about the prospect of these new homes, and certainly it's better for children if they're able to stay locally and be closer to family and community. And also it's more cost effective if we're not having to place children in group homes and run all over the state with our children. So we're very excited about that and hope that you'll make this recognition.
Questions or discussions? This was approved earlier this evening by the local DSS board. Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Wechtel, second by Commissioner Wright. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It's very appropriate to have this posted on the website and forwarded all to you. Anyone else for information? All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Miss Rhea.
Hello, hello.
Good evening.
I have three lovely things for discussion tonight. The first thing I have is we are going to talk again about the 2018 audit. I put a handout at all your chairs. Just a little summary. So after the last meeting, Gilliam reached out and wanted to revise their audit price since they got a feeling from the meeting that we were changing from a 3-year agreement to a 1. Their final offer, so to speak, is $59,325, and that includes 2 programs for the single audit, and also has the variable pricing if we had to add additional programs that was stated last time. This price still includes $3,625 of discount, which is half of what they had in their 3-year proposal. I also reached out to Malden Jenkins, the other firm that put in for the RFP, and they were still interested in our audit. They just said, yes, we're still interested, put us in the hat. So they're still in, I believe, at the same price of $47,500. I also did call references for Malden and Jenkins at your request. Orange County, North Carolina, and Town of Selma both answered my request and both enjoyed working with them and are continuing to work with them. Orange County did mention their audit fee is going up $6,000 due to the new single audit requirements. Town of Selma doesn't have single audits, so theirs is a flat fee.
Okay.
They said they were very responsive and helpful when they needed them to be.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, questions or discussions?
Rhea, can you define what is a program?
So a federal or state program would be how we get a pool of money. In the past, we have used DSS's Medicaid as our one program that they've been auditing for single audit because that's where we get the most money. Because they've changed the rules this year, Medicaid will not be the only program they're auditing. So they may pick something like transportation's rope funds. I don't remember what that stands for, rural.
Operating assistance.
Thank you. Or something to that effect. They could choose child support, they could choose Soil and Water's USDA money. We don't know what they're gonna choose. As far as I know, the state is still working on really what that percentage that they're gonna want audited. It hasn't come out yet. I hope to find out in the next couple weeks, and then we can start really planning on, they'll take the biggest chunks of money they can to audit as few programs as possible. Gilliam is estimating that they will need to audit 2. And I think Malden Jenkins they're guessing at 4. So.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? The chair will entertain a motion for the approval of our audit team for next year. Would that be appropriate? Does it need to go to council for?
No, I think so. I just have a question for the attorney because there was a vote last month. The
Right.
information has changed. I just wondered procedurally.
Yeah.
I think based upon what Rhea has told you when you've reported back to her, you may want to reconsider your award. I don't know what you want to do. Is that correct? That my recollection last month is that you chose Gilliam on the condition that she would contact them back with some modification of the price. My understanding is that she did contact them back and they went up.
Yeah,
correct.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can elect to proceed at that price, or you can elect to award the contract to another bidder at the offered price.
Do we need to vote to cancel the original? I guess is my question. And I think that's what Forrest's question
Yeah,
is.
yeah, and I think that's essentially what you're doing, is that you are rescinding the original
All right.
award based upon the new information that's come back to.
All right. The chair will move that we rescind the original.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Wechtel. Any further discussion? All those in favor of rescinding the original, please raise your right hand.
Does that mean you voted for it then?
Not-
You rescinded your vote?
Not last month. It was very clear last month.
Yeah. The chair will also move that we accept the offer from Malden Jenkins as presented by our finance officer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wechtel. Any further discussion? All those in favor of accepting the offer from Malden Jenkins, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Rhea.
Thank you. The second thing I have for you is 2 Lien Satisfactions. So we had, back in 2001, we had some CDBG grant money. Let's say CDBG 3 times fast. And as part of this grant money, we gave people money and helped them fix their homes up. And we put a lien on their property because they had to hold the property for a certain amount of time to not have to pay the loan back. We have had 2 parties come forward, the Metcalfs and the Mays, that have had this for a long time, because it is now 2018 and they were done in 2001. So they satisfied the time, and we need to remove the lien so they can move on to other things with their property. What I'm asking tonight is for you guys to appoint one of yourselves to be able to sign these lien satisfactions on behalf of the county, and then do so after the meeting, please.
Okay. And it does need to be one of the commissioners.
Johnny?
It can be just, you can actually take action to authorize your county manager to do it, or you can authorize anyone you want to. I mean,
Okay.
it's up to you. The county's taking the action,
Yeah.
and it'll be
Okay.
in the minutes.
Okay. Do we have a motion, gentlemen?
I move that we authorize our county manager.
Motion to authorize the county manager.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Briggs. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay.
And the last thing I have for you gentlemen is the April 2018 property releases and refunds.
Are there any questions, gentlemen? All right. Chair will entertain a motion.
Move that be approved as presented.
Motion by Commissioner Rice, have them approved as presented.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wechtel. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Ms. Rhea.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Forrest.
Good evening. We have a couple of things just update-wise. Not that I think any updates required on the first one on the Hometown Strong Initiative, because it's been covered in the newspaper pretty well the last little bit. But to recap, Madison County was selected as one of the first 6 pilot counties for the governor's Hometown Strong Rural Initiative. And those counties were announced Friday before last on April the 20th. And then on April 23rd and 24th, we were the first county to be visited by the team from Raleigh that had senior level leadership from 9 different executive branch cabinet agencies, who spent 2 days in the county meeting with representatives from each town. We had the Chief Deputy Secretary and Deputy Secretary of Cultural Resources, which are over libraries. They toured the Hot Springs Library on the day that the renovations were unveiled, so they went in the same day that the kids who were there for some programming got to go in and see the space. They were very impressed by what we're doing there. It's a very unique library. They enjoyed Hot Springs. We had folks from the Division of Water Quality meet with the town to discuss some of their water and sewer and other infrastructure needs in Hot Springs. The group spent some additional time with the Madison County Arts Council. The Cultural Resources folks had been here back in October and met with the Arts Council, and Secretary of Natural and Cultural Resources Susie Hamilton and others were very impressed by the Arts Council, and that's one of the main reasons Madison County was being pushed as one of the potential counties in the first group, because they were impressed by what was going on with them. Town of Mars Hill met with these folks, talked about a little bit of everything: economic development, water and sewer, Parks and Recreation Trust Fund. And then the town of Marshall held a meeting, looked at the sewer plant and talked about some of their water needs. Group toured the Marshall High studios and had some additional discussions about the arts and what they've done in the community. So it was a good couple of days with them. On the Tuesday of that event, for a couple of hours, Governor Cooper was in town. He met with a group of teachers at the high school, then toured the Advanced Manufacturing Center at the high school, and then went to the library in Marshall to kick off the countywide meeting that had representatives of all these groups, where we had about an hour and a half, 2-hour discussion that looking at broadband, and Sarah did a really good job of presenting and has done a good job. Her real work has been in what she was able to present, because she's done great work in working with the state, working with providers, looking at the needs in the county. I think everyone was very impressed by that, whether they were locals from the county sitting there, whether they'd come from Raleigh. I think that went very well. Great discussion on workforce development and other needs by Jonathan Zuch with Advanced Super Abrasives. And we've been working on this for several months to try to make sure that Madison was potentially one of these. Didn't know we were going to be the first, but that's a good thing to be, I think. What's in it for Madison County? It's always good. We have a great relationship with our legislators who work for us in Raleigh. They are strong advocates for us. We've seen those results in some specific direct projects in the county, as well as just some measures that are helpful to all counties like Madison. We've got a state with 10 million people. Your executive branch oversees a lot of existing programs and grants that are funded. The more opportunity you have to talk with those folks and have them in your county, that's a good thing, and particularly if they spend a couple of days here. So it went very well. I'll come back to it at a later agenda item, but we did have the Chief Operating Officer for the Department of Transportation on hand. We have been talking Crossroads Parkway for months through the Hometown Strong folks before it was announced. He came to town and had figured some things out prior to getting here, and it looks like he did commit during that meeting. Jonathan brought it up, a need for Advanced Super Abrasives. Bobby Lewis, who's the Chief Operating Officer for DOT, did commit to find the funding for that project. So we'll get to that with a later item, but it was a good event. I think the Arts Council's already maybe hearing some positive news. I don't know what's official on a planning grant that they're going to go after. And the other big thing is the broadband piece that we will work on. They can't give everything to Madison County. We'll ask for everything, but they can't. But we'll work on it. But it was a good day. Good to have people in town, even if it is a bit chaotic and all that. But it went very well.
And thank you, Forrest, for your efforts. Sarah, a lot of other people that worked on this. Thank you.
It's good to know we have a county that has, from a nonprofit like the Arts Council to a business like advanced super abrasives to our libraries, all these good things going on. A lot of things we can do better, a lot of things we want to work on, or we wouldn't need any help. And we have also taken responsibility for what we do ourselves. But it's good to have them be able to see some of the successes, because that's part of what the program's about, is to be able to share. We're the smallest county in the first 6. There are only 2 counties in the west. Burke County is the other one. The others are all east of Raleigh. So it's a good thing. We'll keep following up. It was the first of several things. We will continue to follow up with different projects that we would like to be considered for. One thing, back in March, you all had, when you had a discussion, presentations from the Health Department and others about the impact of the opioid epidemic in Madison County. We had briefly mentioned a drug court, and I've communicated with you all about work that's been going on surrounding a potential drug treatment court. Those discussions have been going on since late 2016, when Mark Cody convened a group up at Extension that has since turned into a chapter of Families Against Narcotics here in the county. But Judge Alan Thornburg came over from Buncombe County with the drug treatment coordinator from Buncombe, and they talked about what that program has done there. Judge McIntyre here, our Chief District Court Judge, was heavily involved in getting a drug treatment court started in Avery County. Watauga County has one in our judicial district, but Madison, Yancey, and Mitchell do not have that. And the way a drug treatment court works is in specific cases where a committee, the district attorney and others are involved, think that a person who's in the system is a suitable candidate for treatment rather than incarceration, they're put on a very stringent, lengthy drug treatment program, and they have a graduation at the end of that. A lot of requirements. A lot of times it's tougher on them than just going to jail. That's a tough thing to overcome for a person. It helps to reduce recidivism rates. It helps those counties save on some court costs and some incarceration costs. It is a relatively small number of people who are suited for it, because people have to be in the right place and ready to go through that, and the level of their crime matters as well to who's referring it. It's a drop in the bucket compared to the overall number of offenses we have, but there have been some good successes in Buncombe County as well as Avery and Watauga, and it has concerned our judicial officials that we haven't had that same service in other counties. Last year, talked about whether we would look at this at the local level, and at the time, the administrative office of courts was advising clerks of court and others to not do local funding of specialty courts, because they really were trying to get the state to fund those. The state has funded other things and hasn't had the money to do that. It looks unlikely that they will. So each county is responsible for coming up with those sorts of things. As we've looked at it and discussed it with our judicial officials, it looks like Madison County by itself lacks the resources to pay for a coordinator to make this work. We also may not have enough people to create our own caseload in a county our size. Judge McIntyre has worked to set up the court time to make this work, but what you have to have is a coordinator who follows up with probation and others on the team that review each case to make sure that whoever's involved is showing up where they're supposed to show up, they're staying clean, they're following their plan. So started discussing a couple of months ago partnering with Yancey and Mitchell counties on a coordinator for the 3 counties. And each county seemed interested and agreed. Everybody will look at it during budget season, which we're about to embark upon. So the reason I'm bringing this up tonight is that in the last 3 weeks or so, a grant opportunity has come up from the state that would be suitable for funding a coordinator. It funds several things, and this would be one of those projects. Rachel Potter, who is our bridge counselor at the health department, has very graciously in the health department agreed to write this grant for all 3 counties. Talked with the county managers I met last week with Mitchell and Yancey county managers they're very excited about it. We're getting all the information together. The grant goes in at the end of this week. There is no local match, but it's moving along fairly well. Don't know how that will go. And obviously, it's a competitive issue, but she is putting all of that together. We're getting some letters of support. There will be one from the county. We're getting one from each sheriff and clerk of court. But it could be a really good program for the county. Appreciate our health department stepping up. The other two counties are very pleased because they deal with the regional health department. I'm sure that works great, but their relationship is not the way ours is with our health department. And they are happy that we have a person who's able to do this, and it can be really good. The health department has stepped up, and locally, Judge McIntyre, Seth Banks, district attorney, but in this county, Mark Cody has really made this an effort that I don't think there's many local official in the other counties who has tackled this quite like Mark has. So that's a good thing. We'll see where it goes, but I want to give you all that update. Any questions? That's all my update. I think the next item is it Crossroads Parkway?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you. As we discussed earlier, and just to bring everybody back up to speed on Crossroads Parkway, that is the almost connector road that runs from exit 9, the Burnsville exit back to exit 11, the Mars Hill exit, and it would be the frontage road that there was about a quarter mile that wasn't built in the late 90s when they upgraded the road and built it to interstate standards. And sometime in the early 2000s, that road got put on the STIP, which is the State Transportation Improvement Program, but DOT would never fund it because they said there had to be a major economic development project behind it. And I remember that when I was working in the governor's office several years ago, our DOT representative at that time, she said that, I know that's Madison County's big project, they're just not going to do that if they don't have something really big coming along with it. In 2014, the town and the county worked with Land of Sky to use some of the Land of Sky RPO money to pay for an engineer design of that, get a better cost estimate on how it would work. And then in 2015, the town applied and the county helped them, and the town was awarded funding from the Appalachian Regional Commission for $1.7 million to construct that road. That's great. Federal money coming in, build the road. It's very much tied to advanced super abrasives and potential expansion there and potential other industrial expansion near there, and of course potential commercial and residential development as well. Last November, DOT notified us that bids had come in higher than expected, at about double what the funding was that was available from ARC, and there was no immediate source to fill the funding gap. So the solution was to resubmit the project for scoring, which stood a pretty good chance of getting funded because over half the funding was there, but we won't know anything until this fall, and it's just sort of a slow process. So when we learned about Hometown Strong, when somebody called back in December and said Madison County might be on this list, one of the specific things they said is, where has the bureaucracy or the red tape, either intentionally or unintentionally, gotten in the way of the project? And I said, well, this is one that very much has been. The money's there. It's going to be closer to funding than you've ever had it. Here's a good project. So we've worked over the last several months with DOT, and then at the meeting the other day, Mr. Lewis came, the #2 guy at DOT, committed to funding it. He did ask for a resolution of support from the commissioners. Says he's identified the funds for the project, and a little bit of local division money, and also some money for economic development projects. You have a resolution in your package to review. If you adopt it, it will be on the June Board of Transportation meeting for them to consider at that point for that funding.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
Move we approve a resolution in support of the Crossroads Parkway.
Motion by Commissioner Briggs, second by Commissioner Rice. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand.
Next, you have surplus property, and specifically a request from Audrey and Alex Worley for a due diligence extension on the rock building. That time is going to expire on May 13th, their initial 60 days. As you know, we have in the letter states there's an additional 14 feet. The town has approved zoning for 8 units, and they've approved 16 units on the condition that additional 14 feet, I guess on the north side of the property toward the brick building, toward the science building up there at the Mars Hill, be conveyed by the Board of Education. Board of Education has not acted at this point. I'm told by the superintendent that one board member has would like for the commissioners to act on Laurel first. The other board members all have other reasons for the delay. But everyone feels okay about where the board is. There seems to be support. It's just about the timing of when they're able to consider it. So I recommend you do extend this. We're talking with the potential buyer. I would extend it so you don't have to do it again. Go ahead and do another 60 days. But the zoning's in place. We're just waiting on the school board and that transaction to happen. We've agreed that we would pay out of any proceeds for the moving the awning, because the school system uses that. We would pay to have that moved. It's a good, as we discussed before, a good project, and it's not perfect, but it's probably the best option you have for the building.
Discussion, gentlemen.
So their request doesn't specifically state how many days they want. We're just saying 60? Is that what we're doing?
Whatever you want to do, but at least 30. And if you do 30, you may have to do it again.
Yeah.
Right.
I think 60 would
Let's
seem
do it,
reasonable.
whatever it takes to get it
Yeah,
done.
let's do
We don't have to
60.
keep doing it, yeah.
Yeah. The chair will move that we grant a 60-day extension.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Wecht. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Board appointments, Forrest.
Just some updates on gov deals.
Okay.
6 vehicles currently on auction that are all from the solid waste department, and on April 20th and 23rd, 6 other vehicles were sold for a combined revenue of $10,946. So that's 3 vehicles that wouldn't start, none of them in good running condition, but they're not ours anymore. So that's a good thing, and they're moving very fast.
Cleaning out the junkyard.
And the board appointments, the Metropolitan Planning Organization Technical Coordinating Committee, MPO-TCC. Most of Madison County is in the RPO, Rural Planning Organization, but the town of Mars Hill is considered urban based on federal standards. So that the town of Mars Hill and a little bit of the land around it has to go through the MPO for all transportation planning projects. There's a TAC, which is made up of elected officials, and there's a TCC that's made up of staff from counties, and recommend you designate Sarah Nichols as the TCC rep for Madison County.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion by Commissioner Wechtel, second by Commissioner Briggs, to put Ms. Sarah Nichols on the Land of the Sky MPO-TCC. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, Forrest.
Thank you.
Being no other business on the agenda and no other business to come before this meeting, I will entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion by Commissioner Rice, second by Commissioner Briggs. All in favor of adjournment, please raise your right hand. To our chairman, who is traveling tonight and watching us, safe travels, Wayne. Gentlemen, we have a bunch of paperwork to sign. And for those who were loyal in attending, thank you. Nope.
That's all right.
Malcolm there, what, the last two Stanley Cups, they only had the big cap?
Actually, all 5 Stanley Cups, plus there is one they've gone to watch. So, and in the history, Pittsburgh is not for 78 years.
You wanna just do that? I didn't know what you're saying. Sorry.
I'm sorry.